Welcome back to What Arty Noobs. This is a Rhm Borsig Waffenträger. It's the Tier 8 German tank destroyer. It's located on the southwest spawn of Karelia, and this one is under the command of heavy999. Well, straight off, I think you would notice that this is probably one of the few vehicles in the game with a skin that actually has a crew. Yes, it's actually rather good with a crew, actually. I wish more vehicles had them, such as Arty for that matter. The other thing you'd notice is it's a short, fat barrel, and that means he's got the 15cm. Yes, because if it was the thin, long one, it would be the 128mm. Oh, great shot there. First one, 427. Now, the 15cm will normally do 750 alpha and penetrate 215mm of armour, but I get the feeling that was a non-penetrating shot that he fired there. He is firing the HE rounds. Now, the HE rounds will only go through 85mm of armour, but they do 950 alpha. So you really don't want to get hit with one of those if you're thin-skinned, and that batch out 12-ton thin-skinned vehicle. It was unfortunate for him that the angle in which he hit that last that LT432 was on one of the parts of the body where he wasn't going to get a pen. So the 15cm has low pen but high damage, and the 128mm has high pen but low damage. But mind you, it's still a lot of damage because it's still the same damage you would get from the Scorpion, which is 490 alpha. Okay, we're looking for that Batchat because we know he's gone into the marsh. Just can't see him at the moment. He's hiding behind a bush somewhere. Over that side we've got a Super Pershing sitting the other side of the rise. And the enemy's trying to fight to get up on top of the horseshoe. We've got guys on the other side. Oh, now shell came in there. That was from an LT432, and that was a pen. A low roll pen, but he did get the pen for 944. Another problem with the 15cm is the long reload. It's 15.89 for heavy. Standard reload is 19.18. And there's the T26E4. And he's still firing the HE rounds. Now he knows he's going to get a lot of damage, but he may not pen the guy. Oh, and the guy moved! He moved, he went into the water. Now the reload for the 128mm round is 11.09, and there goes the Super Pershing, taken out of the game by our Udas. So it's a lot faster firing, the 128mm, but obviously you have to take into account it's going to do less damage. It will have more pen though. So it's horses for courses. A lot of players like to play with a 15cm, but they know that if they do, they're going to have to accept that some of the shells are not going to pen. But even if they don't pen, you're still going to do a lot of damage to the enemy. Now normally tank destroyers go off into the South Pass and they sit behind that rock pumping shells at the enemy as they go through. Well, one of the problems with the Rhm Borsig Waffenträger, or Borsig as most people call them, is it's got no armour. And that means that if you sit in that position and they start lobbing artillery shells in, you're going to be out of the game fairly quickly. There's an ELC Evan 90. You should be able to get a shot on that guy. The guy's hiding behind a rock. Okay. He knows he's been seen though. Yeah, so probably not a good idea if you're in a Borsig to go to the Western Pass, sit behind that rock and fire through the bush. Because if they know you're there, they will lob artillery rounds at you, and every round that goes in will damage you. Because remember, this thing, no armour at all, built on the chassis. Well, it's a custom chassis, but it's a suspension from a Hetzer. It was one of the first weapons carriers that the Germans built. Oh, how did that not pen him? I don't understand that. And he's firing HE as well. Now you should be able to pen these guys fairly easily, even with just HE. There's the balls, there's the back chat, and he's out the game. Yeah, even if it didn't pen him, it was going to take him out the game on just the splash, the HE. It's like getting hit by an artillery round moving horizontally. It is a 15 centimeter after all. Okay, Renegade. And again, nice shot right onto the turret, 312, non-penetrator, but it certainly does get a lot of damage on them. Okay, so he's firing a heat round this time. And will that guy drop below the horizon? Yes, he does. So we've loaded a heat, but now we don't need it. Ideally, at this moment, we should go back to an AP round. Now, you notice that Heavy actually loaded quite a lot of premium rounds. Oh, enemy strip and the SU-130PM. Now, the SU-130PM is more dangerous for the moment. The strips obviously can do a lot of damage with this 105. Oh, one shot, he's out the game just like that. Good kill. Now, the ELC's moving up, so he might spot for the enemy. We've loaded another HE round. So if we can hit this ELC, he will go out the game with one shot. Trouble is, he's spotting for the enemy, and we don't want to receive a round from that SU-130PM because it certainly will pen us. Our SU-130PM is also over in that corner, but he's already been hit by Arty. And you can see he's only down to 184 hit points now, which makes him a one shot for the ELC. And yeah, the ELC got him. Okay, so we're back into the bushes for cover. I always like this set of bushes. You can knock these bushes, these trees, not bushes. You can knock these trees down. They provide incredible cover. I've set my striv in one of those trees after I knocked them down, and people have to get really close to spot that you're there. It was amazing. I was getting shots on just about everyone. Well, the units went over to the rock, so he's actually stopping the enemy from coming down that corridor, but he's the last one holding that line. We're way down on numbers now, 2 down on the enemy at the moment, but yeah, they do tend to have most of the map. And then the UDES has decided to abandon that position because I think the enemy's on their way in. Now, the other thing that this Waffenträger has is low view range. It's only got 360 meters. And if the enemy does have good camo, he's only going to spot them once they're right round that corner. So at this moment, he's hoping that the UDES will spot for him. He's just popped up behind that bush. He's going into siege mode. Sorry about the lack of engine noise again. This is Wargaming screwing up. ELC's come up onto this this area, and he hasn't been spotted, or at least the T-28 did spot him, but nobody's actually dealing with him. And here comes the IS-3, and you can notice how he didn't get spotted until he was already around the corner, and he's spotted us, and we get clobbered for 400 hit points, which is a high roll. You know, what would be really impressive is if Wargaming could actually get a crew that actually did move, that they didn't just act stationary on the skin, that they were actually doing the job of loading the vehicle. That would be very impressive indeed, but obviously I think Wargaming would be a bit concerned that what would actually happen to the crew if the vehicle got destroyed. Well, it was a near miss, because you can see where the shell crater is right next door to us. And we're lucky to survive with only 30 hit points of damage, to be honest. Because that was a very close hit for M40, M43. Because remember, that's an 8-inch shell. At least I think that was an 8-inch shell that did that crater. It may have been the 155mm gun. But the UDES is trying to defend against that ELC, and of course he's going to get Arty'd next. I wouldn't be surprised if the round comes in very, very shortly. Remember, we've got an IS-3 coming up behind us as well. And here comes the SU-130PM. Hello. Goodbye. Oops. Yeah, that didn't quite work out well for him because we were using an HE round. We're not loaded. And he takes out the UDES and he's coming for us now. We're one of only 2 left in live on this game. And the ELC knows full well. Oh, we tried to get him. Heavy couldn't get it in time. And ELC knows we got a long reload, so he can just taunt us now, driving around us, waiting for his reload to go in. That's why he's not firing. He's reloading. But now it's too late for him because he did allow heavy999 a second chance. Okay, well, we did get stunned there by one of the enemy Arty shots. And he's moving away from this position. Oh, the enemy UDES! Ouch. Yeah. Luckily, it looks like he's got the stock gun. 275 is all he managed to get. We're loaded. And 727 hit points of damage. I don't think the UDES were too happy about that. But now we're facing the wrong way. He's going to get a free shot into us. He's got us by the tracks, but we're almost loaded. Here we go. Oh, he got us before we could get him. If he'd managed to get that last shot off, then he would have killed the UDES for sure with an HE, but yeah, didn't work. And that means the last member of our team still alive is the Lorraine 15551. And the enemy is now capping, and that's the UDES 03 who's capping. It's funny actually because Klaus Kellerman didn't like the UDES at all. I think he really did hate it because of the time it took to go in and out of siege mode. It really did troll him. 3.5k damage, pretty good game. According to this, he's 103 hit points short of the high caliber, but remember he did fire a few blind rounds, or at least he fired at least blind at least once. Lorraine's doing all that he can do really under the circumstances. He could fire blind at the cap, and I would always do that first before actually going in to find the enemy and shoot them face to face, but he's decided to go in very bravely. And unfortunately, I think, yeah, the UDES is now tearing him to shreds. And I kind of get the feeling that he tracked him in a position where the Lorraine couldn't get his gun to bear on the UDES. And now he's going in for the ram. Oh, too late. He's tracked him again. He's blown his wad. The UDES is still not getting it, but it was actually the enemy Arty who took out our Lorraine. And that ends the game. Oh dear. And here's the end of battle results, and it was an ace tank of the heavy999 in the Rhm Borsig Waffenträger. He managed to get a 5 effect for doing more damage than the hit points for his own vehicle, a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills, he did get 4 exactly, and he also got a bruise in the middle for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 15, and he did get the high caliber. Yes, he did do enough damage to get the 20%. It looked like he was short, but in actual fact, yes, he did manage to get that much. And his win rate in the game was 6,384. He fired a blind shot, I think it was, if I remember correctly, he fired at the ELC whilst he was in the bushes. And he might have actually damaged him at that particular point. And that's why it went down and he managed to get the high caliber. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, there you go. Top damage. 3,706 hit points in the end. That's what he got. 3,257 went to the UDES. And the next high score after that was the IS-3 with 2,379. When it came to kills, he got the highest number with 4. 4 kills also went to the UDES 03 on his own team. And 3 kills went to the SU-130PM on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, it's the enemy team who came out on top. Yes, because they won the game 1062 went to the ELC, who was a bit overconfident, trying to do that circling manoeuvre twice whilst he was reloading. Yeah, it didn't work out too well for him the second time, because Heavy missed him on the first time. Wasn't going to miss him again with that 15cm gun, especially when he was so close. 898 went to the Progetto 46, 842 went to the IS-3. The Arty managed to get a Confederate in that game, for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team, and as you saw, heavy999 managed to get the high caliber. He managed to get 777 XP from that game, base XP, and actually puts him in 5th place on XP overall. He fired 12 rounds in that game, 9 direct hits, 5 penetrations on the enemy, and 4 splash. Yes, some of those HE rounds that did actually pen the target. 3,706 hit points of damage, of which 2,063 were at more than 300 meters. He did receive 4 hits, and all 4 penetrated. Yeah, as I said, this thing's got no armor. You can't afford to be seen and shot at by the enemy, because more than likely it's going to do damage. He also received 2 hits by way of splash damage from the enemy Arty, the M40, M43. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle, damaged 9 of the enemy, killed 4, and did 519 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, he earned 46,604 credits, got 40,000 for completing a mission, 5,184 for courageous resistance, for getting a battle hero or an epic medal in a losing or drawn game, 91,788 credits altogether, and after repair and ammunition respawn, yes, he did fire a few premium rounds, but mostly it was just standard ammo and HE. 53,808 credits profit, 1,165 XP, 652 for courageous resistance, and took away 1,818 experience points altogether. It was his first ace in this vehicle, as you know, because you've got the scrolls underneath. You only get that the first time, and he almost carried it. He said he almost carried it a split second longer, and that UDES would have been toast. In which case, then, he would have had a chance against the enemy, because, of course, the enemy Arty was the last enemy that he had to deal with afterwards. But, yeah, so it was close, but not close enough, I'm afraid. A split second was all it was between him and victory, really, because I think if he had killed that UDES, then he would have gone on to win the game with the help of the Lorraine by getting the M40, M43. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.